There are cities that feel like chapters in a person's life, and for me, New York has always been more than a skyline or a backdrop. It has been a companion, a muse, a mirror of who I am at every stage of my journey, and now it has become the witness to something even greater because walking these streets with Travis, no longer just as my partner but as my fiancé, felt like I was opening a brand new book where every page was filled with lie. When our silver SUV slipped into the flow of Manhattan traffic and finally pulled to a stop, I could already feel the familiar rhythm of the city wrapping itself around me. The noise, the flashing lights, the curious eyes, but none of it mattered when his hand found mine, warm, steady, grounding me in the midst of the storm. We stepped out into the cool morning air, and the rush of fans and cameras was immediate, a wall of excitement and energy that seemed to ripple down the block, yet his calm smile never wavered, and my own heart found its pace in the small, protective gestures he made, the way he shifted his body slightly to shield me, the way his fingers brushed mine when we walked side by side. I wore a white shirt tucked into light blue jeans, nothing designed to dazzle, just something simple and true, while he towered above in a casual look that carried the quiet confidence of someone who doesn't need to announce himself because his presence alone fills the space. People later said we looked so happy, and they were right, because happiness is not in grand poses, but in the way your heart lifts when you realize that even in a city of millions, you feel like it belongs only to you and the person beside you. Our honeymoon didn't take us to distant beaches or secluded islands. It took us somewhere far more familiar, to New York, a city that has seen me through the peaks of my career, the valleys of heartbreak, the nights of writing in solitude, and now it was seeing me through love in its truest form, quiet and unshakable. Central Park was our first stop, a sanctuary of green carved out of steel and glass, and as we strolled beneath the trees, the chatter of families and joggers filled the air. But all I felt was the weight of my head resting on his shoulder, the comfort of his stride keeping time with mine. People snapped photos, of course they did, and soon enough the images spread online, fans writing that we looked like a young couple falling in love for the first time. And maybe that was true, because no matter how many stages I have stood on or how many stadiums have cheered his name, love always resets you, makes you new again when you let it. And that afternoon, in the dappled sunlight, I felt like a girl in love all over again. New York has always been bound to my story, immortalized in my songs, in the verses about long nights and fleeting moments, in the lines that capture heartbreak and hope, and now it wove itself into this new part of my life with Travis, this beginning that felt like an anchor and a sail all at once. A close friend once told me I always return to this city because it's where I can breathe most freely, and now with him beside me, that freedom took on new meaning because I wasn't just being myself, I was being myself with the person who saw me fully and loved me still. We didn't chase parties or endless spotlights. Instead, we chased the kind of moments that slip between the cracks of busy lives, the small cafe in the West Village where the smell of fresh bread filled the air and I sipped a cappuccino while he teased me about always needing foam art for a photo, the way he laughed as he tried a slice of cake and said it was the best thing he'd eaten all week, even though I knew he was just trying to make me smile. People at nearby tables glanced at us. Some recognized us, others simply saw two people enjoying a quiet morning, and that was exactly how we wanted it, ordinary and extraordinary all at once. One evening, we went to see a Broadway play, and when the theater lights dimmed, I felt his hand slip into mine, strong and certain, and in the darkness he leaned close, his breath warm against my ear as he whispered something small, silly, but enough to make me laugh softly, the kind of laugh you can't hold back. That moment, simple as it was, became one of those memories that imprint themselves forever because it wasn't about the stage or the actors or even the applause, it was about us, sitting side by side in the kind of quiet joy that needs no performance. By the time we left, People had already begun posting clips of us, hands entwined, smiles shared, and the internet did what it always does, calling it a fairy tale, calling us the dream couple. But the truth is that behind the fairy tale there is simply love, unglamorous and steady, the kind that walks you home after the curtain falls and holds your hand in the back of a cab. At night, when Manhattan lit up like a field of stars turned upside down, we wandered through Tribeca, where the streets felt quieter, where my apartment lights glowed like a beacon, and where we could slip into anonymity just for a little while. He carried bags of takeout because sometimes dinner at home with the city humming outside is better than any five-star restaurant, and as we curled up on the couch, plates balanced in our laps, I realized that this was what I had been waiting for, not the spotlight, not the headlines, but the warmth of shared silence, the comfort of knowing that the person next to you is exactly where they want to be. From the rooftop later, we looked out over the skyline, the Empire State Building cutting into the night, the traffic below like a stream of living light, and he wrapped his arm around me as if to say, "This is ours. Not the city, not the fame, not the noise, just this moment, just us." We blended into the rhythm of New York, into late-night walks where the only witnesses were street lamps and stray cats, into mornings spent in small diners where the waitress recognized me but never said a word, into hours where we weren't Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. We were just two people in love, stealing time from a world that always demands more. And maybe that's why this first honeymoon felt so powerful, because it reminded us that love isn't about escaping the world, it's about building a world within it, one you can carry with you no matter how loud or heavy life becomes. People will always see the public side, the photos, the viral clips, the perfect images, but what they won't always see are the quiet glances, the soft whispers, the laughter that comes out of nowhere, the way his thumb traces the back of my hand absent-mindedly when we sit together. Those are the details that matter, the ones that no camera can ever truly capture.